flip myself with this. For some reason, my phone makes me exit all the way out of the app, come back in the app, and then I can do this mode. Also, I'm a little iffy if I have it right. Hello. I may be cutting off my head, but that's cool. It's always a mess when I go live. Let's see. Oh, let me scooch you back. Oh, let me scooch you back. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, I'm Alyssa. Today I'm going to talk about Sioux's book because I read that. I read that last week. I'm a huge Dance Moms fan. I don't know if I would say Dance Moms fan. I like it's just my comfort show. And I can't explain to you why. It's just a show like I know what's going to happen. I used to watch it all the time when I was younger. I love dance. I always wanted to be a dancer, but I didn't have the talent or stamina or the health. So I have always been a huge Dance Moms fan. I love keeping up with the girls. I kind of just love reality TV. It's kind of messed up in a way. Also, I'm like, am I still cutting off my head? Let me back it up, Terry. Back it up, Terry. Okay. I don't think I'm cutting off my head anymore. And I think I could see comments if those aren't turned off because YouTube likes to do that to me for some reason. So if you're in here, say hi in the comments if you're allowed to. Sometimes YouTube does that to me for some reason. Ha ha ha. So I've always loved Dance Moms, and Nia is a huge favorite of mine. Her and Chloe are truly my favorite. So I am really glad that she did the forefront of this book. I think that's what it's called. If I messed that up, I'm so sorry. Please correct me. But yeah, Chloe opens the book and is kind of just like, hey, super happy that Nia decided to open up about this. And I think it's really funny and not ironic at all that Chloe, Brooke, and Paige were totally fine with Nia, Maddie, and Mackenzie missing the reunion. And the only three that had something to say about it was Kendall, Kalani, and JoJo because those three girls came into what they knew was a reality show. Of course, the moms knew all along, like this is a reality show, it's probably fake, whatever. I don't think they knew how fake it was or like how crazy it was going to be. But the three girls that came into the show after seeing the show on TV and seeing how big the original girls got were the three that were just like, how dare they not be here? Not shocked at all about that one. So I kind of want to discuss a few of the things that Nia opens up about in this book that I find very interesting. I really recommend you going and listening to it or reading it yourself. I listened to it on Audibles and hearing her voice talk about the experiences she had really escalated the story. Like it helped you just really understand where she was coming from in those moments. Um, I got a first comment. Let me say hello. Let me say hello. Hi. Shout out to Gaming with Sarah and Ava. Hi. Thank you guys for being in here. So, Nia, I don't know if you can hear Dan. He's watching football, so ignore him if he shouts or is talking crazy in there to his friends. So, Nia starts off the book by talking about how she was, helped raised by her grandparents. Like, her grandparents had a huge part in helping um, her mom and dad raise them. Like, not, take control and actually raise them. But her and her two brothers had a lot of support from their grandparents, which is amazing. I love that. So did I. It's, it shows a strong family unit. So she had a lot of support. And then on top of that, she started going through health problems as she was like getting into dance and different things. So she was diagnosed with a disorder. I can't remember the name of it. I should have wrote it down. Listen, I'm going live, and I was just like, you know what? I kind of want to talk about her book, because I love Dance Mom so much. So it was like a pain disorder. It's stress related. So it can cause her to just like feel so much pain in her legs. She was unable to walk, because like if she was putting stress on her legs, like it was just, it was this whole thing where she had to balance pain management. She went to an entire physical therapy facility that helped her manage the pain, helped her process all of the feelings, all of the difficulties with that, and showed her how to actually live with this condition, and essentially help her, live her life with this condition. So she experienced all of that right before the show. So she was in dance, but she had to relearn a lot of those things. So when the show first started, she was behind. Like she did say, like, she was catching back up and trying to relearn a lot of simple things. And Abby would portray that as like, Nia's always behind. Like, why is Nia always behind? And then she tried to be like, it's because her mother's absent, and just crazy, crazy accusations on that end. And then also on top of that, she would say racist comments to Nia, like black people's feet are flatter and she has to work harder. Like, crazy, like, I don't know. You just have to read the book. Abby said the most off the wall comments to Nia that weren't shown on TV. However, there were crazy comments shown on TV talking about Nia's hair texture. Nia kind of opens up about the other girls being able to just like pull their hair up in a French braid, but she would try to actually ask Abby and Gianna at the beginning of a week, be like, hey, what kind of hairstyle are we doing? Because it's so much harder for her to get the same hairstyle as all the other white girls in the group. So she opens up about like trying to plan ahead as a young black girl and still getting shut down. Like Abby was still like, why do you have to know that? And Nia's like, well, because it doesn't just happen for me. Like she would have to go get her hair done at the salon and then essentially just like fry her hair off and ruin it. So like she would try to come up with ways to like, salvage her hair at that young of an age. She was already very self-aware, and you could really tell throughout the show Nia was like pretty self-aware, even as a young child. So it just goes to show you that like she wasn't oblivious to that, even though I feel like Abby kind of thought she was in a weird way. Abby is still mad. It's insane. Thank you for being here, Fashion ALDC. Hey, you are my people. Give me a sub and I'll sub back to you. Because I love me some Dance Moms fans. Hi. So, I don't know if you've read the book or not. This is going to be spoilers. I should have put that in the title. Major spoilers for the book. My bad. So yeah, she talks about just a few of the comments that Abby said. And then one of the craziest situations that was not aired on television, but I've heard stories from other cast members, possibly even like people behind the scenes. They talked about a time that the girls all got iPads as gifts because of an incident with Nia and Abby being racist towards Nia. I forget what the fight was over, but I think it was like, gosh, I'm trying to think, season two? It was in season two, and the fight between Holly and Abby got like super heated. And what ended up happening is Abby went into the studio, grabbed Nia by the arm, and started pulling her out and saying she didn't want any tooties in her dance studio or in her competition team. Um, Pretty much saying she's like the token black kid. And Nia again was like, I didn't know what like tootie meant. You know, she was like, I didn't understand the extent of that. But Abby physically grabbing her is wild to me. So I feel like in that moment, like there's a lot of discourse around why did Holly stay? Why didn't she try to get out of the contract? Like what all went on with Nia's mom Holly? And I think that is the one incident that is like, why in the hell did you not do something? Because unfortunately I feel like, and I want to speak on this as like somebody who has experienced ableism, which is different from racism. People experience homophobia, which is all very different, but you will always face comments and attitudes towards you as somebody who is different. Like, it's always going to happen. So, from that aspect, I understand why Holly is kind of like, you know, it was gonna it's gonna happen inevitably. So like Nia wanted to be on this TV show, so we let her and we just explained to her what she was gonna have to deal with, unfortunately. But once it gets physical is when it's like season two is wild to stay after season two after, you know, Abby got physical with your child. So that is the one thing that I'm just like kind of like, Holly, girl, what? Like I still love Dr. Holly, but that's the one incident that I'm just like, I don't know about staying after that. I don't know if I could have kept my hands off Abby after that. But that was a weird point because the show bought all the girls iPads. Another thing Nia said towards the end of the series, like season seven, Abby would gloat about making like $20,000 an episode while the girls got very minimal pay each episode. And Nia actually in season six was coming back to season seven, signing a contract. And Nia was like, hey, I've been here since the beginning. How about we bump up my pay? Like, if you pay me more, I'll come back. They agreed, but then they also gave all of the other girls a pay raise. And Nia was like, hey, super happy for that. But a part of her was like, but damn, like, I've been here since the beginning. And half these girls haven't even been here since season two. So she was a part of them getting a pay raise towards the end, which is amazing. Like, you go, girl. But she was also kind of like, but shouldn't I get more? And yes, she should. She was like 7 seasons in. And then, well, Kendall, you know, Kendall too. Like, you know, go ahead and give Kendall a raise. But Kalani came in. Cameron and Bryn came in towards the end. I can't remember if I'm forgetting somebody. Like Chloe came in season 8. No, season 7. Season 7. She came in season 7. So yeah, like Nia advocated for herself, which is amazing, especially being that young. I think was she like 14 when she left the show, which is insane. Okay, done. Thank you. She talks about the iPad thing in her book. yeah, she in the book she talks about like them covering it up. We love Holly. Yes, I freaking love Holly. But no, she talks about that in the book that like iPads were new and they were just like gifted iPads around that time. Um, Pretty much as like a shut up gift to all of the girls. So I'm trying to think. I literally have like the be a star in your own life. I have that song in my head. Um, she talks a little bit about um I'm trying to think. I think she talks a little bit about JoJo coming in with like an attitude, but JoJo was there to get famous. Like I've said, like the other girls came into the show and they're like, "Oh, this is a reality show. I know what I'm doing. Mom, you know what you're doing. Let's get TV time." So JoJo, I'm just like, I feel like she's always just been an on stage persona, like I feel like none of us know who the real JoJo is, or if we do, it's just like this persona of a person that her mom has like given her for her whole life, unfortunately. Um, However, the only two people that she really talks about, and it's not even like she's throwing shade towards them, she's just like telling her experience with them, is Jill and Kendall Vertes. And she says that when she would get a duet with Kendall, she saw her roll her eyes. And you totally got that vibe in the show. You could totally tell. Anytime Kendall had a duet with Nia, her and her mom, Jill, they would act a certain way. And you could tell every single time. You could tell that Kendall was not happy. And so she talks about that. She was like, Kendall like blatantly rolled her eyes whenever she had a duet with me one time, and Nia's like, I remember that very clearly. Jill, I think that was shown on air that she was like, well, I'm not like at all threatened by Nia. Like nobody's threatened by Nia, which is fucked up. I think it was season 2 when she said that, but it's like, why, why would you say that in any situation? Um, so yeah, those, and then the Rosa Parks thing. Nia, I did see the interview where Jill recently was talking about how she doesn't see her problem in the Rosa Parks trying to get Kendall to play Rosa Parks. Um, and again, that was like recent. So Nia talks about that in her book as well. She's like, Jill still stands by that, which is wild. Like, yeah, that's very wild. And she talks about like getting typecasted from her very first solo at the ALDC to all the way in the end. And how she said like Kalani was better at African dance or looked more African than Nia, which is another like she didn't even word it in a way like that. Abby didn't even like say like, oh, she looked better in African style dance. She just said she looks more African than you. And it's like, Abby, what? And to beat it all, Nia tried to reach out to Abby when Abby was going through cancer, because Nia's a good person. Like, she's a good hearted person. You can just tell that she has good intentions. So she reached out to Abby because she was like, I, didn't have closure. And she just felt the need to reach out and see if she could go visit her. And Abby pretty much said she would still be a poor girl who shops at thrift stores if Abby didn't give her name. And Abby did not give her name. The show Dance Moms did. And you know what? That's something Christy and Kelly always talk about on their podcasts. They're like, Abby didn't do shit. It was Lifetime. That right there. Abby actually wanted to take like so much percentage of whatever the girls made by being their manager. So, um, Yeah, Abby sent back a very rude message back to Nia after Nia's like, "Hey, I would love to come visit you." And after that, Nia was like, "You know what? I never have a desire to come see you ever again. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear." So, good for her for just like moving the fuck on after Abby was a complete bitch. Let's be for real. Um, and I'm very proud of her for that because that's again, she's like very young. So like she was even younger when that situation happened. So like kudos to Nia for just absolutely being a boss bitch and just keeping it moving in her life. You probably didn't read that part. Who's my favorite dancer? My little Kindle. My favorite dancer, oh my gosh, it's like Chloe was always my favorite for sure. And I think I'm gonna have to stick to Chloe. But the more I watch it, the more I love Kinsey. I love watching Kinsey dance. Um, cause she, her hip hop, especially like towards the end of the show when she starts, like when she's getting ready to leave. Um, Kinsey is like such a cute dancer. So I'm gonna say Chloe though. Chloe is my all time favorite. And then Nia with that death drop. Hello. I'm gonna say Chloe, Kinsey, Nia. Those are my top three to watch. Kalani's really good too, though. Like Kalani and Brooke, I love watching them do like the floor work. That stuff's wild to me. But that's more just like me being like, girl, what you doing? Like that's crazy. Also, I like keep looking at my camera because I'm reading comments on my iPad. You love Chloe and Kinsey. Yes, they're so adorable. Right? I think that is the one sad thing that Brooke, that was like her last time ever dancing, was on Dance Moms. And I, I think Brooke could have like really gone places, but her back is so jacked up from all of those flexible tricks that she did. So honestly, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe she was just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the back pain. It's not worth because I think she actually does need like a back surgery if I'm not mistaken. I think she's talked about that where she's like, no, I'm jacked up. So yeah, those I don't know. They all have like their special their special place on the team, you know. Even Vivi. Vivi still dances to this day. So um I just think dance is such an important creative outlet. Like I love dancing so much. Am I good at it? No. But like I've always used dance as just like a really good outlet to like let my energy out and let my emotions out sometimes and just I'm talking with my hands right now. It's just such a fun, goofy way for me to express myself. Did I just say express? Yeah, okay. I was like, did I say express or express? I don't know. My brain is fried right now. Hello. So I'm trying to think of another thing. Nia talks about doing work with the presidents and the first ladies, which is really cool. She got to work close with Kamala Harris. So she has done a lot of really cool work after Dance Moms. Outside of dance, she is going to college. I think did she just graduate? I don't know. Is she still in school? Um, but she's done a lot of. I think she'd still be in school. I'm like, how old is she? She 24, maybe somewhere around there, which is crazy. That's insane. I don't like that. that means I'm old. But yeah, I feel like she has a few other weird incidents with Abby and the show, The Reunion. Um, and then I do want to talk about Christy and Kelly because I also religiously watch that podcast or listen to the podcast Back to the Bar. And as you all know, last week she said something about like Nia's book coming out. I like I know Kelly did not mean to do this at all. But low key, that bitch like marketed Nia's book. And I'm like, yeah, I know you didn't get paid, and I know Kelly Highland did not like think of that. But like genius. She was accidentally a fucking genius. Also my chest hurts, so I'm like, sorry. I'm just take a pause. I would be Maddie because I'm dedicated to dance. Good night. Thank you for being in here. I appreciate you. Express. So, yeah, I'm a mess. Bottom of the line, I'm a mess. So Christy and Kelly talking about Nia and her book. I feel like it got blown way out of proportion, and people were just like, "How dare Kelly say that Nia needs to ask for permission?" Because the whole thing that started that is them rewatching them leaving. Right? Kelly left like at the beginning of season 4. Christy left at the end of season 4. So what was happening is the moms were talking about Christy and Kelly leaving. And, you know, Christy and Kelly feel some sort of way about that because it's reality TV. They even read the notes of what was going to happen if Christy stayed. So, like, the show had it planned out what their storylines were going to be. Now, it is reality TV, but the reality TV sorry, dancing there yelling. So the reality TV aspect of it is the producers pushing a narrative. And the narrative they had was pushing Chloe and Christy to have Nia and Holly's storyline. After Chloe and Christy didn't show up to set, they somehow got off the show. Christy was like, I'm going to talk about how I got off the show, but she can't. She can't legally talk about it. So she did not open up about that, but, you know, she had to jump through hoops to get off the show. Okay, anyway, so she had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get off the show, just like Kelly did. She, however, did not like file a lawsuit. I don't think. I don't think she did. She may have, but Holly says something in that episode because they had to reroute their whole plan. The producers had to like when they started filming, they were like, "Oh shit, Christy's not showing up." So they were feeding lines. You can tell they were feeding lines. So even Christy says like Maddie's like, "I really miss Chloe," and she says Abby told Maddie to say that. So it made Chloe look like she was just being rude and not messaging everybody back. But in reality, I'm like, ladies, let's think about this for a second. The producers needed the storyline. So even when Holly gets on camera in one of her interviews, and I am positive Holly was told to say, I wish I would have got a call from Christy, but she won't return anybody's calls. That was the whole narrative, is like Christy and Chloe not returning anyone's calls. That was the narrative they were pushing, the producers. So Holly gets on camera and says, like, I wish I would have got a call or like a warning from Christy saying like she wasn't going to show this season. But Christy was being told by her lawyer to not contact any of the moms, anybody on the show, you know, like not let Chloe contact anybody on the show while they're filming and stuff. So that is what brought up Kelly saying, well, I didn't get a call about Nia's book. She was literally just like mirroring what Holly was saying back then. So it wasn't like Kelly's like, I wanted to call about the book, you know, like why didn't she ask me permission, or like why didn't she. Kelly literally just said, I would have liked a heads up about the book. So why didn't she call me and tell me about the book? Like it was just, it was that, you know, it wasn't this big thing where people are just like, you're entitled and you guys aren't happy for Nia. Like it just turned into such a weird, I don't even know the word, like a chaos of people just playing a game of telephone, like not even understanding or listening to what was happening. And I get it, it's clickbait, but I'm here to give you what I saw happen in real time. I listened to the podcast. I've been excited about Nia's book coming out, so I listened to the podcast, all of it, not just one little part, and then I read Nia's book, and I saw the discourse online about it. So that was the last thing that I wanted to say about that, because again, it wasn't like malicious. It's just crazy. And then Chloe literally opened the book, and Nia had, like, she said she felt like she was left out of certain things. And yeah, like, that doesn't make anybody feel good. But she says in the book, like, she doesn't blame them because they were also children. So she says nothing bad about the girls. Other than Kendall and Jill. But thank you guys for watching, by the way. If you have any commentary to add to this, let me know. But that's just what I.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
It must be a crazy game in there. The Chargers are playing the Steelers? Question mark. Maybe. And in other Dance Moms news, I saw that Jill was very nervous about Kendall having her own podcast, which is understandable with what we have seen and heard from Kendall when she was younger, especially. So, I'm kind of excited about that, to be completely honest, because I feel like she has zero filter, and in a good or bad way. So we're gonna hold our breath for that one, and I'm really excited to see what comes out of that. But again, like Christy and Kelly, like they've been getting emotional, and honestly, Kelly had a moment where she like just started crying because like she was like, nobody missed me and my girls, which I feel like is really hard. Like whenever people talk about being the OGs on that show, I feel like it does mean something, because like in the dance classes it was Paige, Nia, Maddie, Chloe. Like those were the four girls who were always in dance class together. And then you have Paige's sister Brooke, who was older. They added her in for the show. And then Kinsey, who was Maddie's little sister, they added her into the show. And then Vivi, but like, you know, Vivi's off doing her own thing. But like those six little girls were like the show. They were the group. They were the friends. And even Kelly talks about like how Maddie and Paige were close. It wasn't like Chloe and Maddie. It wasn't as much Chloe and Paige. Like Chloe and Paige became close, yeah, but like at the beginning it was like Paige and Maddie were like really good friends. So it was it was really a hard episode to watch. You blame Holly and Christy? Is that what you said? You blame Holly and Christy for what? Which part? I'll do like a Q&A if you guys want me to. Adrian Monrello. Thank you for being in here. Yeah, I don't know what you blame Holly and Christy for. Um, but like I said, I've talked about it earlier in this video, but like I partially understand where Holly's coming from. Like, this world is not nice to you if you are anything but normal. So like I've experienced ableism in my life. Like, me having different disabilities has made people treat me differently because of that. Um, People experience homophobia in their life. People experience racism in their life. And so, like, Holly, Nia talks about having that conversation, like, every black kid has to have that, like, people are going to treat you differently because of your race, unfortunately. So, to that extent, I understand where Holly was coming from as to, like, letting Nia decide if she wanted to continue the show. But the one incident when Abby got physical and grabbed her is when I'm like, I can't justify that, Holly. Like, the crazy shit Abby said, I couldn't hold it together. Um, and Nia talks about how they didn't want to be portrayed as like the angry black woman. That, like, I totally get all of that, but it's just like, I cannot believe Abby said and did the things that she did. I can, actually, because I watched that show. I can, unfortunately, see her doing that shit, but like, I can't imagine like staying in that environment for that long and what that did to her. I have no idea what he's saying in there. Yeah, tell us. Okay. I talked about it earlier. So, I I read the book last week. Nia in season 2, I think the fight was shown on air, but like this was not shown at all. So I had heard about this incident for years from like different sources, like behind the scenes, the crew members, people who were on set and stuff. And I'm like, did Christy? I think Christy might have talked about it. So Nia actually talks about this in her book that Abby and Holly got into a fight, a screaming match, um, about how she treated Nia. And she walked into the studio where all the girls were rehearsing, and she grabbed Nia by the arm and said, I don't need any tooties in my competition team. And like dragged Nia out. And Nia was like, at the time, I didn't understand what that meant, but pretty much Abby was calling her like the token black girl, um, like from the facts of life. And Abby even corroborates the story. Is that the right word? Abby even corroborates that story. I don't know, but we're gonna use it anyway. She even talks about that story in her book and is like, I felt like the producers were giving me the facts of life character, like, cast. Um, so obviously very disturbing. And that is when all the girls received iPads. It was around that time because I guess the producers were trying to cover it up. And Nia said Abby even got mad that they got iPads for that. Even though I'm like, bitch, I would have taken her to court so fast. But yeah, that was the moment I was like, Holly, what did we do here? Like, why was that ever okay? But yeah, thank you for asking. Anna Varsa? I think that's your name. Oh god, yeah. Yeah. Reading this book, you listen to Back to the Bar, yeah. It's crazy. Like, and that's what I mean. That was the one incident that I was like, Holly girl, what are we doing? What are we doing here? like, unfortunately, like I said, like, I've been in situations where, um, and I'm not saying this is the same thing at all. Like, I know, like, but I don't know how to say this. I'm not trying to be like, me being disabled is the same as me being black. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I have been in situations where, like, people are ableist or, like, they act really fucking weird and, like, cannot let shit go. Like, me being legally blind, it's like people cannot let that shit go. So I'm like, I've been around people like Abby that are that way towards me, and it's just like even when I was younger, I've been around people like that. So like I kind of understand to a certain extent putting up with someone like that because that show, not Abby, not the ALDC, not the dance competition team, but the show Lifetime paid them to be on actually gave them opportunities or promised opportunities. And I understand that aspect, and like Nia not wanting to just like get kicked off because then there would be no representation. So like I do admire her for that. But again, like her getting physical with her, like, bitch, what are we doing? Um, that was like the wildest part of that. I love it. I love that you guys can hear Dan in the background. I don't even know if you can, but also thank you for being in here. If you're still in here, I'm just like straight chilling. I have to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna get off of here. Um, I actually would like to do more Dance Moms content, but again, like I wasn't prepared today. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about Nia's book because I just read it, and I'm just gonna give my thoughts on some things that are going down. So if you haven't watched this whole video and you just joined later on, I'm gonna post it. It should be posted tomorrow. So go ahead and give me a subscribe. That's not how you say that at all. Go ahead and subscribe to me. There you go. Go ahead and subscribe to me. Um, and I will get this uploaded for y'all tomorrow. It should be uploaded in the morning. Usually it does that. And I appreciate you being in here. And I'm gonna get off here and get ready for bed because I gotta work in the morning. You can also catch me on TikTok. It's just Alyssa Markel official. Same profile picture, same name, same me. And I usually go live on TikTok from 6 a.m. to like 7 ish because I work around 9, but I gotta get ready, So usually I go live at 6 over there on TikTok. I try to get over here on I don't know why I develop an accent. I try to go live on here on Sundays. I really want to get more consistent with going live on YouTube, but I also have a life outside of YouTube and TikTok, and I work, and yeah, it's crazy. I don't see how people do this a lot, especially when they have a full time job. That's insane. So, thank you for being in here and supporting me. I will see you all soon, and you can watch me struggle to get off stream. Cause I gotta come up here and like take my phone out of the little ring light. Bye. Maybe bye. Maybe. Dancing there yelling. Oh my gosh. How do I leave? How do you do that shit? How do you? How do you?